Bear with me, I'm still working on the Astrodoodle. Alright, I'm still working on it, so bear with me. Okie dokie. Good evening. Hello, Ibona. Hello, Fluffles. This is TarotLumination. We're here Sunday night, 5th of November, 2023. It's an interesting date because exactly 1 year from now, we have a very, very, very important day in the United States. It is a day when the American people are going to make a choice between who our elected leaders are supposed to be. And I've already done the astrology for that day. I haven't done the report yet, but believe me, it's going to be chaos. Absolute chaos. What I'm seeing is outrageous attempts at fraud, deception, betrayal, lies, theft, manipulation. And at the same time, this is kind of a beautiful thing because we need to see it live in front of us. It's very interesting today. One of my hello necessary. One of the reports that I was reading today earlier was regarding I don't know if I can find it right now. I don't have it right in front of me, but it was regarding a very important voting event. I think it was up in New England somewhere for a very important office for one of the states or something like that. And the let's say the legal department of that state, whatever you want to call it, decided to take matters in hand and do what they call it monitoring or election voting events where they have observers. And they did it very, very thoroughly. And what they did is they captured live in the middle of the night a bunch of people going around to early voting ballot boxes, stuffing these boxes full of fake ballots. Caught red-handed. Caught them red-handed. So the whole voting event has been canceled and they're going to rebuild the whole thing. I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious that the people who are doing all these nefarious actions regarding the process of electing the people who are supposed to run our country, they're doing it live in real time, even though they're being monitored, even though that we've had 2 years of extreme contention regarding very, very important voting events. So it's kind of funny in a way, kind of ironic that it's still happening live in real time. And I can guarantee you that we have exactly 1 year from today for all the nefarious actors to do all their planning and work behind the scenes to make sure that the 5th of November 2024 is a diabolical mess in favor of the people who are creating the mess, to the detriment of the people who just want truth, freedom. We want our country back. So let me say hello. Good evening and welcome. So thank you for showing up. The astrology is still very extreme. Early today, it started very, very early with the moon in very hard angle. Of course, with the moon, it's moving very quickly, so the moods and the feelings have changed. We have the moon in Leo, and it started off with some extremely harsh squares to the Taurus-Scorpio axis. So I'm going to show you in just a moment. And it's been going on all day. It's very, very, very stressful. And what I'm seeing in real time and in my own world is that it's not only global finances that are being hyper stressed out and taken to the break point. It's happening on the personal level for everybody. It's complete saturation. And again, it's like, I've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I never really imagined it would go as extreme as it is. I'm kind of mind boggled. Part of me is mind boggled The other part of me is like, well, I told you so. It's going to get a lot worse, by the way. But what does that look like? What does a lot worse look like? In the United States, there's a lot of extreme financial duress happening right now. And yet, when I've been out and about all day long, it looked like just another day. Just thousands of people milling around, living their lives completely oblivious to what's actually happening. They deep inside, they probably don't know. They don't feel that they have any power or say in control. All they do is they go into the store and they look at their box of stuff like, oh, what's that? Wow, it's up 30% from last year. Oh, poop. Oh, well, we got to eat, so we're just going to buy it. And they go to the gasoline and they go, oh my God, it's up 30% from last year. Oh, well, I got to buy it. And that's the end of it. And then they go back and they look in their wallet, they look in their bank account, and they think, man, I'm getting poorer and poorer every day. What's going on? Even if you're big income, you're going to see this. I mean, some people are so far above it. You know, as a tiny percentage of the population, it's like they don't care. They probably know what's happening and how it all works anyway, and they're benefiting. There are certain populations and very small groups of people who are benefiting tremendously from the financial chaos that's going on right now across the world. Anyway, we've talked about that a few times. Hi, y'all. Hey, TL, you have money. Yo! Ding! Ching! Hi, Tina. Hello, Love Driver. Oh, hello, Necessary. Hello, Fluffles. Hello, Ivona. Yeah, so thanks for dropping by. I've been trying to put out a few videos today earlier because I felt it was very important. Give me a second. Let's see if I can get a reference point here. Both videos were made long ago. One of them was made yesterday, just little short videos, and another one was made as a short. Okay, I did that earlier today, and it's really weird. I have a 7-minute video that to me is very, very important, and every time it's just either it's getting blocked or limited, and I don't know what it is. It's the internet signals here are perfect. I keep getting notices that say waiting for network. There's nothing wrong over here, okay? Waiting for network. I believe they're talking about the YouTube network ability to receive content and process. So I don't know if YouTube is being bombarded with astronomical amounts of content right now and they're having difficulty processing it all, or if it's something a little bit more malicious. I can't really tell. I'm so paranoid already with my channel that it wouldn't surprise me if there was some new nefarious way of restricting who I am and what I do. So we'll see. But I'm getting the same message. The one that I just put out has just been processed, and I did it hours ago. It's a 1.5 minute. It's a 40-second video. So I don't really know what's going on. I really don't. It's I know. You know how I like to blame the planets. I like to blame YouTube. But things are the way they are. Okay? I'm kind of up to my neck in people wanting personal readings at the moment. And I haven't really been able to get back to people because some of the subject matter is very challenging. to deal with, and I've been trying to figure out how on earth am I going to help these people by doing these personal readings. I mean, I love doing all this stuff, but sometimes I wonder if it has any meaning or any value, because, you know, if someone doesn't like what I say or what I present or what comes to the surface during a reading or a consultation, whatever you want to call it, then it's like, what's the point? A lot of people, they want validation. Years ago, when I used to do lots and lots of relationship readings and heart spreads and all of that kind of stuff, and a lot of the personal clients it's like they're hoping to hear their wish come true. They're like, in other words, they wouldn't come to a channel like this and spend money to book a reading or get a live reading or something like that without the expectation of some kind of relief. They want to, whatever the problems are, they need to be revealed so that you can heal them. And that's where the big obstacles are for a lot of people, is that they can't see or understand what the obstacles or what the problems or the challenges are. And there's typically a preconceived expectation of a certain outcome before someone comes in and books a reading. And I can't ever promise, like, oh, it's going to be wonderful all the time. And I know some readers that, well, I don't really know a lot. I live in my own bubble. But I know from long ago that a lot of readers basically pander to people's fragility. Like, oh, you're gonna win the lottery. Oh, you're gonna meet the love of your life. Oh, all of your debts are going to be released, and so on and so on and so on. And it's just a matter of time. And all you have to do now is just add an extra $100 to the pot, and I will cast a spell to make all this important stuff happen. And of course, the clients are like, oh, wow, oh, okay. And so, since I don't operate that way, I'm constantly in the position of like, well, what am I supposed to tell you if you don't like what you're hearing, if you have a certain expectation of feedback? I've had a couple of clients try to sue me for not hearing what they wanted to hear. And I won each time, but it's a very, very horrible experience. Because all I'm trying to do is help. It's very, very weird. Let me just catch up with the notes here. Hold on. Thank you, Tina. So I'm going to give you a magic post-it note in a minute. There's Diana. Hello, Diana. I love and value all your readings. Thank you, Fluffles. You mentioned a couple of spreads you do in the side that may take more time. Yes. One was, I thought, at least about a person's life mission or so. Yes, that's right. Maybe you can repeat the 3 types of spread. Okay, so I've been doing this a long time, and I've done thousands of readings, and I learned very early on that I have to create. When you study tarot, there are a lot of very good. Well, there's not a lot. There's a few good teachers out there, and a few really good books that can help you. But ultimately, you're on your own as a reader, and you can use the prescribed traditional processes that are often shared and replicated through the different teachings. But in my own practice here, I discovered that a lot of these spreads really aren't working for me, given the kind of audience that I have and the kind of clients that I'm receiving. And pretty quickly, I started to craft my own spreads. And I reduced everything down to 3 essential spreads, and that's it. There's so many spreads for this and so many spreads for that. And I thought, no, enough. And I got to the point where I just have to throw all the books away. I have to throw all the teachings away and just go on my own path. And on my own path, I made a distillation process. And I have 3 spreads. I have what everybody knows here is my little situational spread. It's a diagnostic tool. It's the 3 cards with the backup card. 3 cards with the, external influences. But in personal, private readings, which are the expensive ones, which you have to book online, and then we do all the scheduling, and then we do the private readings, like through the private Zoom, we can access 2 other spreads. One is my relationship spread, which I call my crucible spread. And that's based on the understanding that in a relationship, there's the you and there's the other. And then there's a third entity which has its own energy field, and that is the relationship itself. And so that creates this kind of shape, which I consider to be a crucible. And a crucible is an extremely high tensile container that is used in science and laboratories to conduct experiments that create a lot of stress and pressure on the ingredients. And the crucibles are typically made out of like porcelain, like really thick, like an inch of porcelain in a simple bowl shape through which they can do the chemistry or whatever it is they're doing, the science. And the crucible is designed to withstand incredible stress. And when people form relationships, especially if it is a formal relationship, what they're doing is essentially creating a crucible between themselves and each other. And it's deliberate, it's by choice. And then that crucible becomes the entity in which the relationship is conducted. That's the environment in which the relationship exists. And in a really healthy relationship, both parties understand that they own the relationship as a separate entity. And that entity has its own identity. Okay? So I can go into it astrologically. Typically, I would have my crucible spread with the cards would be laid out in such a way that it looks like a crucible. There's you and the other and the down and so on. And so on, I'm sorry. And then back at the core, we have the crucible itself. And then like a crucible, like a potted plant, things can grow out of that. So the question is, what do you put into the crucible? Is it love? Is it hate? Is it anger? Is it negligence? What energy are the parties involved loading into the crucible? Because what they load into the crucible is what comes out of the crucible in terms of like growth, like a plant. Fertilizer in a bowl with the seeds, planting seeds of love, planting seeds of hate, planting seeds of ambiguity, confusion, whatever the energy field might be. That can be very accurately determined through the tarot. And I can do what I do also is a parallel reading with the astrology. So it becomes a very, very specialized type of reading. It's a lot of work, and it takes time, and it takes preparation, and not everybody wants to go that deep, so they don't. So that's my crucible spread. The other spread I use is my heart spread, which is more about my life, your life journey, and whether you are on path or not, and what does that life journey look like? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? What kind of baggage are you bringing with you into the moment, into the here and now? What is the heart saying that the head is not hearing? All these types of example. And then there's the phenomenon of decision making. Decision making itself is one of the most powerful evolutionary tools that we have. Now, if you've noticed, a lot of people do not like to think. They do not like to make decisions because decisions have outcomes. If you decide this, then you don't have that. If you decide that, then you don't have this. A lot of people just kind of want to go, okay, I'll just let whatever happens, okay? People very, very high up in power with money and control, a lot of times, if it's a very serious business, they're paid for their decision-making abilities, their abilities to weigh up the good and the bad, and then make a decision. Then they take action on the decision, because the decision has outcomes and you're creating evolution, and so on and so on and so on. And I do that through the heart spread. Now, one of the key elements of the heart spread is that a lot of people in day-to-day life live through their head, basically everything from the neck upwards, because that's where a huge bulk of our sensory organs are placed. Okay, up here. Our eyes, our nose, our ears, our mouth, our pineal gland, and our touch. Well, the touch goes everywhere. Our whole body is skin. That's touch. But a lot of that is the three-dimensional aspect of life. But there is a multi-dimensional aspect that also exists, which is more resonant with the heart and soul energy over here. So inside my heart spread, we can discern the integrity of the link between the heart and the mind. And is the mind listening to the heart? Is there a correlation? Sometimes there's an extreme disparity, and in order to be, I would say, healthy and happy, it's important to come from the heart. In other words, so that your head is the servant of the heart. The thing is, three-dimensional life often does not like that formula. Three-dimensional life can be manipulated from here upwards with things like conditioning, programming, events, circumstances, activities in life, upbringing, everything that we sense up here in life. And that becomes our whole world. Some people have their whole life, their whole world is filled up with like fear, confusion, loss, and it's just everything's just like a twitching, it's not even alive, it's just a twitching corpse, like with electrodes in it. And there's no correlation to the heart at all. And people wonder why they feel lost or happy or lonely or confused or hopeless or whatever it is. Some people are the other way. They artificially accelerate this part when they load up. They have 3 Red Bulls per day, and they think that equals happiness. You know, some people like to dope up on whatever it is, and they're working from here upwards to try and, let's say you have a really freaky day and things feel out of whack up here. Well, obviously people like, you know, it's a huge industry, you know, the drug industry, alcohol, tobacco, entertainment, distractions, anything that we can hold on to stabilize the instability. Like at the end of the day, a lot of people like to just sit down and watch a bit of Netflix. Escapism, fine. That's just one thing. Some people have a beer or 2 or 5. Some people have half a bottle of whiskey, whatever it is. In order to stop this connecting with this, because if people connected from here and they realize that there's such a disparity from here to here, it might be overwhelming. Like deep in the heart might be asking for resolution, health, healing, compromise, compassion, empathy, love, the ability to love and be loved. But sometimes it's impossible because we have been, let's say, conditioned out of that. Okay? The heart spread can indicate the degree of correlation that you have between your heart and your head. Ultimately, in a very healthy, let's say, evolved, sublimely evolved person, the head is the servant of the heart. That's it. It's really that simple. But everything in our three-dimensional world is contradictory to that, because it goes against the needs of the exterior world. The exterior world, they want to sell you stuff. They want to tell you to do this, do that, condition you to do this and behave in certain ways that benefits the people who are conditioning you through here. It's a very advanced science, and people at the very top of the corporate ladders understand how this all works, and they use it to their advantage, to your disadvantage. The classic example would be intense advertising and marketing on you through the media to do this, be this, have this, for a certain amount of this that benefits them and comes out of your wallet and deprives you of energy. It may feel like you're getting something, but it's actually a form of extracting energy that goes to them, comes out of you. They know how to do that. You know, they're very, very smart people. Hearts, hello. Anyway, I hope I didn't scare you. That's really all I do. I do the astrology. I do my little mini situational spread. I do my crucible spread, and I do my heart spread. That's it. Some astrologers do intense, deep work on all the asteroids and the fixed stars and the solar center and the galactic center and things like that. It's wonderful. There's so many different, ways. Some readers have multiple spreads or traditional spreads. Depends. But anyway, I've talked enough. I'm just going to finish my little tea here. Let me just go to the stage here for a minute. I got to catch up with you guys. Hello, Esther. I didn't see you there. Hello, Esther. Hi. Hello, Gregory. Good evening, sir. God, we got the gang here tonight, haven't we, really? I think I saw Necessary earlier as well. Hold on, let me just check. Yep. She's lurking in the background. So Tina's here, and she just advised me that I got money. So I'm going to put there, we got a reading coming up for Tina Miller. Thank you, Tina. I have to do 2 other private readings. There's no way I'm going to get to them today or tonight. Yep. Haha, I see that, Fluffles. I see that one there. Never saw that before. Yeah. So anyway, do you see this big fat red triangle here? That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Now in the background we have a very sweet but very gentle kite. It's not a full kite, but it's there. It's very harmonious. It's nice to have that. It's very comforting. It's almost like having a very, very nice couple of nurses and a nice set of pillows and a nice anesthetic when you're at the dentist or when you are talking to your banker and things are very, very bad. Okay, so things sort of balance out a bit. Now over here, you've seen this before many times. Our North Node journey is still hyper stressed out because it's under extreme pressure from Pluto, from very, very far away. Different ways to analyze it, look at it. I have my feelings. My personal feeling is that we're looking at redundancy in relationships, where people all over the world, all the way up to countries and governments and nations and religions, populations, are starting to look at themselves and their relationships with others. And as you've probably noticed, we have global restructuring going on live right now. Okay? This is a very, very long-term play. This is going to go on for another 20 years, the global restructuring. It's going to go through the Pluto and Aquarius chapter, which is going to be about 20 years. And during that time, there's going to be tremendous amount of global revolution and upheaval and restructuring until things settle down in about 18 years from now. And then we will drift gently into the Pluto in Pisces era, which will be very different again. So in the meantime, focusing back on the present here, on a global scale, countries are looking at their relationships with each other, and there's a lot of them are realizing, wait a minute, I don't like my relationship with you. You suck. You have deprived me. You have cheated, fooled, betrayed me. And some of the other countries are like, well, you think you cheated me and fooled me. As far as I'm concerned, you're the one who's screwing me over. Our relationship has to end. And the other one says, well, we can't end the relationship because we're completely financially tied to each other, inseparably. And then the other one says, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't have to be that way if we're willing to put up with the consequences of claiming our freedom by releasing our burdens. And if the burden happens to be really sucky relationships, then that's what we need to do. It's almost like you're better off dumping what might appear to be, a relationship that's had a certain history. And when you realize it's now effectively redundant, what's the point? You might as well just dump and take your losses and move on. Claim your freedom. Claim your identity. Let go. Cut the cords. Okay? A lot of times it's very obvious who the enemy is. Oh, Jeffrey, greetings. Oh my God, you must be sitting on your hands right now, chewing your fingernails down to the bone. Ouch. Oh man, I hope it goes well for you. So, earlier in the video I was talking about this stress thing here. And I've been noticing it. Almost every word, everything that I've been reading and hearing about today is to do with extreme financial stress and what to do about it. And a lot of people and institutions don't know what to do about it. In my little tiny video, which I think was successfully loaded, let me just check. I'm going to double check here. I believe it was... Oh, hi, Gregory. Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Sorry. Oh, that's not working. Let me go to the shot here. Okay, the little short video did come through. Okay. So if you're interested, I put up a little tiny short video. Actually, let me get that while you're here, Gregory. I made a little short video, and it was about America. This is very, very much a point of critical mass for America. Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn, now officially direct motion. Saturn has just turned direct. Uh-oh, I forgot. Uranus is still retrograde. Jupiter is still retrograde. Neptune is still retrograde. That's right. So, in that little short video, what I did was... Hold on. Yeah, okay. What I did was I posted... I was tracking some news on the Epoch Times. To me, it's probably the most highly respected source that I know of. I have a lot, but this is, it's English speaking. It's the oldest journal newspaper in America, and they get into trouble all the time for telling the truth. So in certain societies, it's not very welcome. Anyway, there was a report that came out today, early this morning. Guess what it said? I'll tell you. J.P. Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and I think it was U.S. Bank. Between them, we're looking at like $180 billion in paper losses in the last, 9 months or so. See, I told you. The Scorpio-Taurus axis is absolutely brutal right now on the global financial system. And you have to remember that those big banks are part owners of the United States Federal Reserve. So guess what the books look like for inside the Federal Reserve? It's really, really bad. But in a way it doesn't matter because it's all a fiction anyway. But the point is, the losses that we're talking about they're not catastrophic because they will never be cashed out. The point is that these big banks, they own enormous amount of U.S. treasuries kind of as a backstop for when really bad things happen. They can cash in those treasuries to pay out in very, very difficult times. What's interesting is that these so-called securities are now the most insecure holdings on earth. Very, very awkward for the American government. It's also kind of awkward for a bunch of other countries. Anyway, it was interesting to note some of the other people that I watch where I get my news. Most of them were describing how they are witnessing financial chaos either in their neighborhoods or from their own community. And I saw it last night, or was it the night before? Anyway, it's the beginning of the month, and so it's usually financial mayhem at the beginning and the end of each month for everybody in America, because most people live on a monthly kind of financial cycle. Anyway, that's what happened at my bank, and I thought, I'm not going to fight this. I know they'll fix it because they have to. They will live another day. So, but it was chaos. People were in line, and people were cursing at the ATMs because half of the ATMs were not working, and half the ATMs were unable to receive cash or give out cash. Very strange. Well, actually it's not strange because we all knew this was going to happen. Of course, the situation is much worse in some other countries. Yeah. Anyway, the moon, let me go back over here. So when you think of like Leo energy, pride, confidence, courage, happiness, joy, creativity, risk-taking, romance, business, enterprise, imagination, creative self-expression. And you put that little moon there, and it's like, wait a minute, what's happening in my world? Because this beast is transiting everybody on Earth right now. Where it lands in your chart, of course, is a whole different story. It could be anywhere. But right now, for the whole planet, it looks like this. Now, in a day or so, the moon is going to be over here, and the charts will change. But for right now, this is pretty scary. And I personally, I'm feeling it very, very strongly. And I'm not going under or anything, but I've seen things happening in my financial world that give me extreme uneasiness. Let's put it that way. It makes me very, very nervous, very, very anxious. It's not for myself, really. It's for the whole of America, frankly. That's how bad it is, as far as I can tell. I also did a video. You might not have seen it, I don't know, but it was all about Saturn going direct. And the way I'm interpreting it and the way I'm feeling it is that we're looking at this subject. I'm trying to distill it in very, very simple terms. Think of Saturn, karma, Saturn, facts, physical reality, tests, being tested, manifesting in accordance with reality. In other words, if you're planting seeds of hate, guess what blossoms and blooms, and you're reaping the fruits? You get hate. You get fruits of hate, fruits of hatred. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to plant seeds of negativity, hatred, evil, deception, lies, betrayal, all the classic unhealthy aspects of Neptune Pisces energy. It's so easy to do. It's just like quicksand. It's just like you don't have to think. It's like a default setting. It's actually very, very hard to manifest and operate at the high frequencies of Pisces Neptune energy. That's why it's because we're talking with almost the unattainable in terms of perfection. In other words, pure love, pure beauty, pure intuition, pure compassion, pure empathy, divinity. And that's putting a very, very high bar of expectations on human behavior. And so what happens is, I can't reach it. And so people fall into what effectively turns into the opposite energy, which is all the most sickly, evil, horrible stuff you can imagine. And that's what's being exposed right now. Saturn is acting kind of like, from my perspective, is acting as like a reality check. And so in the 0 degree mark going direct now, going forward, what I see happening is very, very obvious examples, especially on a global scale, where we are simultaneously witnessing the fruits of the seeds that we have planted previously, either in the last few weeks, years, or generations. I'm thinking back over the last 30 years, for example, but you could do it for multiple Saturn cycles. And the way it feels to me, especially what's happening in the Middle East right now with this really, really dirty, ugly war, it's a real bloodbath. It's completely barbaric, savage. It is the lowest form of human expression and human behavior, and we are seeing that. That is a result of seeds that were planted. Not only seeds that were planted, but seeds that were nurtured with more and more hate, hatred, absence of love. Let's fill it up with fertilizer, more and more fertilizer of hatred, and it just breeds and turns into a massive fruit tree full of hatred. And that fruit is falling from the tree. And that's what we're seeing over in that war. At the same time, we're seeing gestures of the seeds of love, where some people are crying out and saying, hey, we need to stop this stuff and help the little people who are being hurt. All the women, the kids, the doctors, the families that are more or less innocent. It depends how you look at these things. But it's very hard to separate the two because they're completely entwined. The evil is completely entwined with the good, and the good is completely entwined with the evil. What do? I don't know. Anyway, we're seeing it live on our screens all across the world. Oh, well, that's a cheery subject, isn't it? Good old Saturn. Let me go back here again for a moment. So we dealt with this. Now, of course, now we've got the Pisces-Virgo opposition here. Again, I see it because it's a very pure opposition. You've got to reveal it to heal it. Well, the revealing is very, very crystal clear right now. We're seeing through a tremendous magnifying glass, especially in America. I'm seeing that there's a tremendous revealing and exposure of everything that is sick and evil and perverse and disgusting about human behavior, especially at the highest levels of, let's say, governance and management of our country. But now that we can see it, at least we have a chance to heal it. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, is in the 6th house of health and healing. So it's a very warm, fuzzy, compassionate energy. In other words, let's not judge. Okay, let's just accept it for what it is. America is very, very, very sick. So what are we going to do about it? What would the nurse do? Well, they'd say, okay, well, we need to slowly, but very, very carefully diagnose every little component and work through each one, because it's just overwhelming, the degree of sickness. It's like a person being wheeled into an emergency room with 5 different diseases simultaneously. How do you deal with that? I don't know. Okay. Okay, we got a couple of readings booked for this evening. Thank you. I haven't had time to catch up with the other personal readings I'm supposed to do today. I wish I could, but I can't. So I'll have to play catch up. All right, so what we'll start with Tina, and then we're gonna move over to Gregory. Esther, hello, Esther. Yes, exactly, Esther. Some sicknesses are extremely hard to diagnose. Very, very hard. Love Triber made some comments the other day regarding a dear person. Like, well, if you keep going into the doctor and you say you've got this problem, that problem, they're going to look at you, they're going to do a load of tests, and they're going to find a problem. And then that problem compounds, and like, well, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? And it's different for everybody. Some people seem to be incredibly robust and immune to all sorts of health issues. I've had some horrific health issues. My whole life has been scarred by multiple near-death situations, and I'm here, I'm still going, but it gets pretty scary when you're looking at the end of the line and you're thinking, well, that's it, man. And there's barely any consciousness left. Here's just one example. There's a certain sickness. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, but I'm familiar with one in particular. It's called systemic candidiasis. And I had it and I didn't even know. I've had it for years, I didn't even know. And it was killing me and I didn't know. Until I was nearly dead, and then there was a mad panic. Anyway, it got cured, but I'm permanently at risk now. You can research it if you want, but it's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. It's basically what happens to people when they're already more or less dead or dying and they're decomposing. Okay, do Gregory first. Oh, okay. All right. I don't doubt what Gregory would have a problem. I hope you're okay with that, Gregory. We're just going to swap it out here. Tina has a lot of stuff to do. She's often doing multiple things at the same time. We've noticed that over the years. So let's get on with things here, okay? All right, I'm going to clear the stage so I can need help on the Salazar matter. What is indicating what to do? I think I've seen that name before. This is not the person up in New England, if I recall. This is something more localized in the in your neighborhood. Again, relationships. We're talking about a relationship situation here, okay? So relationships are under extreme duress. You look at the North Node and the nodal axis, and like I said earlier, just look at, you'll see it here. Okay, so this thing here, a lot of relationships are under duress right now, trying to understand the internal dynamics of the relationships, what's healthy, what's not healthy, and then let's say you've figured out what's not working, because with the Libra South Node, we're talking about redundancy, where, you know, relationships that are not only not working for you, but that are actually detrimental. What do we do about that? Sometimes it's extremely hard, like if there's a, you know, a significant bond of some kind, it's sometimes very hard to just go and amputate the thing. But anyway, let's have a look. I'm just going to clear the stage, and we'll pull out a deck, and we'll get on with things. And then we'll come back to this, because we'll probably need this for each reading. We'll see. Tuck things up. Let's make some room here. I think we're going to be okay on this. You know, let's just leave that. My throat is really messed up tonight, so as much as I'd like to do lots of readings, I can't. So I'm very grateful to have a booking with Gregory and a booking with Tina. If people want a reading on the side, we'll have to do that during the week, and you'll have to book me, okay? It's okay. It's okay, Gary. I see your notes there. Okay. What's indicated and what to do. So we're going to work with this. Universal Golden. I'm going to use the Golden. Okay. Give me a second here. I've got to do a few adjustments. Yes, it's okay. Okay, I hope that's okay. All right. Okay. Okay, I think we're good enough to go. Let's bless this deck. Every single card in the deck. From the magical wonders of the tarot deck, the artistry. It has stood the test of time. It's like magic. Can you imagine thinking these things up in the first place? Going back, you know, decades, hundreds of years perhaps? Looking into the mystical world of mysticism. I mean, it's very bizarre when you think about it, that we can have conversations about the images on these cards, and it helps us to sort out our lives. It's very strange when you think about it. Now, I think, as you know, Love Triber, she works with cards as well, but it's actual, gambling cards. Hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs. It's a completely different practice, but it's very, very helpful. Yeah. Hello, Esther. How did I find this gift? I would say I had a lot of weird psychic experiences when I was young, but I didn't know what they were. I was always very dreamy and creative with music and art and writing and things, but it was very, very, very chaotic. I didn't really come to some kind of correlation between myself and cards and myself and astrology until adulthood, for sure. Perhaps in my, I would say, Actually, I started in my teens, now I think about it, but then I put it all aside and I forgot about it until I was about 30. And then I just kept kind of going and studying as much as I could. I started at the time when there were no computers, and the only thing you could use was one of these, and I still use them today. Computers are great, they're very helpful, and you can do combinations, and that's fantastic. But I liked things to be kind of hands-on. And I had some very good teachers, and I went through a lot of books and a lot of self-teaching, and I had a lot of, I guess you could say, random incidents where I would say I was forced into this by my invisible friends, my angels, my guardian angels, my interns and everything. And I'm at the point in life now where I have I kind of take it for granted, but I have a very rich and vivid relationship between myself and I just call them my invisible friends. Yeah, because they are part of the process. What happened was it was kind of all inverted. What I found was that I had a lot of like psychic medium type, I don't know what you'd call them, experiences or skills or gifts, but I didn't like them. I didn't want them. I was feeling too much. I didn't like being able to pick up on someone else's energy randomly, whether it was a stranger or somebody I knew. I didn't like necessarily seeing visions of things or hearing things or feeling like voices were talking to me or I was getting direct messages from angels. I really did not like it. I got to the point where I tried to stop it. I would drink alcohol. I would become a workaholic, anything not to have that stuff in my life because it was so disorienting. Because I had a certain path for life, but this stuff took me on a different path. And I've given up. I've given up trying to fight anything. I'm just a blob. Today I'm just an instrument. It's almost like I don't really have a self anymore. I'm just a blob, and this stuff goes through me and with me wherever I go. And so a lot of these psychic phenomenon are the types that you often see, because I've done readings for people who are going through like a psychic development where they start to see visions and hear things, and they become terrified. They think they're going insane and they're going to go into a hospital because they're so disoriented. And I try to help them understand that, well, you're starting to expand psychically, and it's I don't know what to tell you. With the mediumship, for example, with mediumship, you don't need any cards. You don't need any astrology. It's a separate practice. With mediumship, you're actually working in real time with spirit energy on the other side, or even in real time, like with remote healing and remote viewing. You're working in real time with real live living people and places. When there's psychic energy being exchanged. When people think of mediumship, it's usually they're thinking about, oh, I want to talk with my dead grandma, or my dead pet, Rufus, or my pet, my long lost lover, or whatever it is. And that's one aspect of mediumship. But mediumship and psychic phenomenon can be, time is irrelevant. You can go to the past, the present, and the future, So it's very difficult to navigate, I have to tell you. That's my opinion. I mean, you kind of have to surrender to the phenomenon. All right, Gregory, let's have a look what's going on here. What messages do we have for Gregory tonight regarding the Salazar matter? And we're going to look at what is indicated and what to do. Right. I'll put Tina's over here for a moment. So I'll focus on for Gregory now. So let me keep going. Sorry, it's taking me time to get into it here. We're very well shuffled. I just like to make sure to the last moment. Bless the deck, bless the card, the cameras, the internet, the microphone, all the multiple softwares, the wires, the cable, the platform, the lights, everything. Thank you very much. All right, let's have a look. So we're using the diagnostic spread. I call it my situational spread, but it's really a diagnostics. It allows us to basically pierce the veil. What's going on? Okay, so that's what we need to do. You got to reveal things to heal things. Let's have a look. So what kind of messages do we have here regarding the Salazar matter? What's indicated? And then what do we do? Let's have a look. Well, here's the situation itself. Here's the challenges, which you really need to know. And what are we going to do about it? And then let's have a look at external influences, which I often default to the planets. Let's have a look. So we've got the Four of Swords here. My first feeling is that if you look very, very closely, I hope it shows up. Yeah, there it is. You see that? Can you see that very, very, very subtle illustration in the stained glass window? It's a relationship. Okay? And there's a little portal in the background. And I believe a lot of people's issues in life are to do with dysfunction in relationships. And what they're actually seeking is healing in relationships. And sometimes you can't force that or make that happen. You have to allow, let's say, the formula to come to you. And oftentimes, like with Einstein, it can only come through dreams, through divinity, through surrendering to the dream state. And that would require, and sometimes it's very hard to do. A lot of times people want to live through their head. Gregory, I know that you're a very, very spiritual person. You have almost unlimited compassion, which attracts people to you who require enormous amounts of empathy and compassion. And sometimes they take it above and beyond even your capacity to deliver. And every now and again, you are the one who needs a break. You are the one who needs to be on the receiving end of the compassion and the healing. But where do you go? Sometimes the only way to do that is to surrender to the situation and pray. Basically, my dear angels, my dear invisible friends, dear guardians, dear spirits out there who love me, dear archangels, I know you're out there. I know you love me. Despite whatever's going on in my life and my world, I can't figure out everything to do all the time. So I need your help now. I'm going to put myself into I would call it almost like a state of lucid dreaming, where you deliberately, like in the middle of the day or something like that, you deliberately go into a quiet room and close the curtains and everything, plug out all sounds, put an eye mask on top of your face, and lie down in this posture, in this exact posture, and pray for divine intervention, for the healing in relationships. Now, what's the situation? Let's have a look. Okay, well, obviously there's challenges. We've got the Seven of Wands here, and it might feel, to me, it makes me feel as though this is very active. It's very, very personal to you, and you're dealing with, let's say, if we split this into relationships, and let's describe our hero figure here as the mighty soul who is having to contend with so much contention. And let's describe those 6 wands as 6 multiple facets of one relationship. Let's call it the Salazar matter, okay? And let's say that the Salazar matter can be broken up into multiple components, each of which is stressful. It might be to do with a financial aspect, a sociological aspect, a legal aspect, an expectational aspect, a miscommunications aspect, and so on. And those are all components of one thing, the Salazar matter. And there you are dealing with it. And you will deal with it because you have to. And it's okay. I see you handling it. You're in a position of strength, but it is obviously a challenge. My voice is fading rapidly here. Oh, now what's the problem here? Let's have a look. Internals. Okay, so with the Ace of Pentacles, we're looking at a card of sacred opportunity here, where this is at risk. Let's say the Salazar matter, well, let's say one of these bonds, one of these components is to do with the financial aspect of a Salazar matter, where there is extreme risk, where there is extreme duress, and where there could potentially be goodness, wholesome potential opportunity. That awesome opportunity could be in dire distress right now, where the access to what could be a sublime, gentle, desirable outcome, where you get through, the opportunity manifests, and you come through the other side, through this portal of opportunity, into a place of sublime peace. But this is at risk. This is at risk. It's a beautiful energy, but it's at risk. Highly volatile, highly at risk. And so it needs to be dealt with carefully. It doesn't mean it's lost. It just means it's at risk. That's how I see this. So how are we going to deal with this going forward? Let's have a look. What to do. Well, first of all, it looks to me like you're going to have to be patient. I believe there's a whole bunch of Saturn energy going on here and Pisces energy here. So, guess what? Saturn, challenges. Pisces energy, healing, serenity, giving over to the sublime. Bingo! So, and I made a video about that. So my feeling is, with Saturn going direct now, there is a chance to fix and heal and solve what needs to be fixed, healed, and solved. And because of the other parts of the astrology, which is to do with relationships, here, and with the opposition here, and with the opposition here, relationship dynamics are very powerful, very fierce. Okay, let me see your notes there. There's with the Temperance card here. This is a beautiful card in itself, in that healing and peace and, let's say, harmony is the ultimate outcome. Now, does that mean that it works perfectly for you? Does it work perfectly for the Salazars? And I'm just seeing your notes there. And it says here, if leaving money on the table and achieving peace for the client is the choice, I think I must take it. I can also make some power plays tomorrow and see if that works. I got the Four of Wands today, and the Temperance card is my challenge. Interesting. So my feeling here is that definitely number one, tonight, right after this, I would sleep on it and tune deeply into your heart soul energy to get messages from your angels. Get messages from your invisible friends. Ask for divine guidance. Ask for serenity and peace and healing and resolution in a way that is acceptable to all parties. And like you said, sometimes, what's the expression? Sometimes it's, when you're negotiating things, you don't get 100% of what you want. They don't get 100% of what they want. So you reach a kind of compromise. And if you're on your notes, if part of the compromise leaving some money on the table in order to achieve peace and healing, that could be good. It might suck for you because you probably deserve more than what you're actually, would get. I don't know. I'm not privy to the details, but the important thing here is to reach harmony, healing between both sides. And in order for that to happen, what happens in what they call peace negotiations. Somebody has to come up with a sacrificial offer that they present to the other side that puts you in the position of you being the person who is sacrificing. You are sacrificing something in order to attain peace. And so the other party, the reciprocal energy, would be like, wow, okay, well, if you're willing to sacrifice that in order to reach harmony and we can conclude this, then I'm willing to sacrifice blah, blah in order to reach harmony and conclusion. So that might be a legitimate strategy. You could make some power plays. Well, that's your power plays. That's an option for you. But it feels to me like you're already doing that. And it might be already to the point of the max. And if your intentions and goals are to just get money, have money, then you might have to play hardball. But this reading looks to me much more about reaching harmony and peace. And maybe in other words, like in a business, you could call that reaching a settlement, a peaceable settlement where both parties can walk away with a handshake and a hug, even to the point. Hold on, I'm going to finish up over here. Even to the point where you have so much openness and heart energy. In terms of reaching resolution, harmony, maybe even closure in such a matter, where let's say you actually get to a moment of closure, where it becomes obvious on both sides that the energy of compassion and healing and compromise has been brought into the situation, to the point where it triggers that energy of compassion in a reciprocal way, coming back to you, Gregory. And you get to the point where, let's say there's a lot of contention going on, and there's Gregory, we should fix this, and then you come to an agreement, a settlement, and you do a handshake. And in the handshake agreement, you can feel the healing power of love moving through, live in real time, or it's just like, the other party might be saying, or not saying openly, but like, wow, I never imagined having resolution in the way that you just manifested. And then they would look at you in a state of awe. Like, wow, I thought you were just going to be a badass lawyer or a badass someone and just come after me for the... And so it's just contention. But when you bring compassion into it and healing, and it's just like, you know what? Let's work this out. Let's make a deal. I'm willing to do... Are you willing to do... And they kind of go, wow, if that would actually fix things. Okay, we got a deal. And you reach peace, harmony, healing, and closure to the point where the other party is like, wow. Wow. That's really cool. And then I'm feeling it very strongly, Gregory. I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but it's where like, oh, this is the art of the deal. This is how you do a deal. You don't get 100%. I don't get 100%, but we get a deal. Otherwise, it's no deal at all. If you insist on 100%, but it's not going to happen. If they insist on 100%, it's not going to happen. Then there's no deal. The art of the deal. There you go. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, done already. Okay, well, let's forget the past. Let's deal with the present. I think the reading speaks for itself. Let's just leave it as it is for now. We can follow up in the next few days or next week. We'll see what happens, okay? So, Gregory, I hope that helped you, puts you in a more peaceful frame of mind, which will allow you to be more dynamic and powerful and almost what I feel like clairvoyant in terms of how to live through this situation, where you are literally above the situation, almost like you are psychically remote viewing yourself from a point of a vantage point of spirit, heaven, love, energy, where you can see what this reading means at its core. Anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. There truly is an art to the deal. I'm just going to shuffle it up. Tina, where are you? Tina! Hold on. I got to do a little bit of homework here. Okay. I hope my voice lasts. I think it'll last. All right, let's have a look. Oh, I just see your notes there, Gregory. Hold on, Tina. Give me a second. Yeah. Gosh, Gregory, you're reminding me. Maybe also that Four of Swords. Obviously, it's about healing, self-healing for sure. Temperance healing as well. Very, very powerful. healing type things, so you don't want to hurt yourself. Was it like 9 months ago or something when were you down in Florida, was it? And you got the bug, and it was very, very bad. And you had to go on one of those oxygen tanks. Oh, man. Plus self-meds. I just got on O2 and taking better. Okay. So, I have a friend who has basically life-threatening asthma. Every now and again she gets an attack and ends up in a hospital. It's very frightening for her and for me. Anyway, I was trying to recommend that she gets one of these little, it's sort of like a canister. I don't have an example here, but you know, it's like a little can, and you can sort of hold it up and go. It's like concentrated oxygen in a little can. And anyway, I've heard that they can be extremely helpful in an emergency. So like if you're feeling rough or something, you maybe keep one in the glove box in your car, keep one on your desk, keep one at the bedside. I think you can buy them in packages, like 3-pack, 5-pack, 6-pack. You can get them on Amazon. And you got the bug again in May. Oh man. Nasty, nasty. Oh, so you know what I'm talking about. Right. I have a lot of problems here where the air here does not work for me. I have a lot of struggles. I have a fantastic healthcare plan, which is, of course, partly why I'm alive today. I'm very, very grateful. The climate here is very strange for me. It doesn't quite match with my body, and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. It's tricky. So I'm on double duty allergy medications right now, and they help up to a point. There's only so much you can take. But oxygen is really, really good. My oxygen levels are pretty good, even though my lungs are partly messed up. But in general, my oxygen levels are good or really good, so I don't worry too much. But I have a couple of friends who have really terrible problems with asthma, and those little canisters, they work wonders. It's like an emergency, and it's like you get real air, pure oxygen. All right. Okie dokie. Oh, hello, Esther. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying hearing other people's readings. That's one of the bizarre things about this channel, is that we're doing live readings for individual people. And excuse me, hold on. Oh God, I'm so messed up from here upwards. I got issues. But anyway, I think we're doing pretty well. What was I just saying? Yeah, about other people's readings. It's kind of strange because I've done live readings in public where I'm sitting at a table and it's formal, and there's a client, and sometimes there's a client and their friends, or just a bunch of strangers hanging around watching, and it's kind of like, what? Whoa, it's that kind of vibe. It's really, really, it's actually a lot of fun doing live readings in real time, like at an event. You know, Necessary Truth, if she's still here, she does, as far as I remember, she's a member of this like prestigious live mediumship society in New York. And she goes on these events and she reads live in person at a table. Yeah. My issues have issues. Yeah. Well, for that, I use a lot of tissues. Yeah, I have a lot of tissues. Like in the morning, when I look at my bed and I look at the floor, there's like tissues everywhere. It's just awful. Anyway. And I have to admit, I've become a bit of a nose picker. Like the air is extremely dry here. And like when I had a shower early this morning, it was just bliss. Because it was steamy, moist air. And my sinuses cleared up immediately. And I was breathing. And, you know, whatever it was, like 80%, 90% humidity. And then you come back into day-to-day life and you go down to 7% humidity. It's kind of a shock on the body. So everything in here can really get dried up and crusty. So there's this temptation to, you know, or whichever is your preferred finger. But I have turned into a secretive nose picker. That's how it is. Hello, Robin. Good evening. Long time no see. Anyway, Tina, let's get on with it. We got to take care of Tina's issues because her issues have issues. This is going to be some deep diving, I tell you. All right. So right now, Tina, I don't feel like sharing too much about all the everything that you've shared so much. If you want to share, go ahead and share. But you've been through a lot lately. And some of it is, I have to say, very exciting. Cards are well shuffled, but I like to do it at the last second so it feels like it's your shuffle. Just for you. Let's have a look here. All right, Tina, let's have a look. Tina is over there in New Mexico. It's interesting because Gregory's in New Mexico, Tina's in New Mexico. New Mexico, I believe it's high desert. I think you're up at 12,000 feet or something. So that's pretty high altitude. And of course, it's a desert, so it's very dry at times. New Mexico is beautiful. Parts of New Mexico are just, I don't know what the word is, mystical beauty. Been there a couple times, and it's like a magic place. It's like a magical place. All right, Tina, let's have a look. See what's going on here. What kind of messages do we have for Tina tonight? Okay. Yeah, I've been through Houston a couple times, and yeah, it is humid. Well, you're right on the Gulf. It's 95% humidity there. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. Let's have a look, and let's take into account the externals. Of course, I default to the astrology, but let's see. The Two of Swords. So, again, I feel this is very, very Piscean energy that I'm sensing from this, where it's about being, it's like, to me it feels like it's a message to you, a direct message to you, Tina, that you're already very, very, let's just say tuned in, all right? You're already there, okay? Otherwise you wouldn't be hanging in on this channel anyway in the first place. But what happens is when you're dealing with the world of spirit, it's mind-boggling how deep we can go and how precise it can be. So with the Two of Swords here, my feeling is that this is an indication that it can be very advantageous for you at times, similar to what we were talking about with Gregory, to deliberately put yourself into a meditative state where you allow and you invite divine inspiration to come to you so that you can recalibrate yourself. You know, like when you're tuning a radio, sometimes it's better just to like switch it off for a few moments, take a deep breath, and then switch it on and then retune it. So with the Two of Swords here, if you could please imagine yourself as the transceiver. We've talked about that many times here. People, whether we like it or know it or not, people are transceivers. You are constantly receiving and transmitting energy. You're transmitting and you are receiving. Transmitting and receiving simultaneously. A simple analogy would be like a smartphone or any kind of telephone in real time, where you can speak and the other party can speak simultaneously. Of course you don't, otherwise you talk over each other, which is a waste of time. But the energy is flowing simultaneously, speaking and listening simultaneously. That's very different from a walkie-talkie. A walkie-talkie is transmit, receive by the other, transmit, receive by the other. It's not simultaneous. So, as an instrument of the healing power of love, if you could think of yourself as an antenna, the Two of Swords, think of yourself as an antenna, and you're tuning in to the ultra-high frequencies above your three-dimensional world, okay? Well, you're already 6,000 feet closer to heaven. Yeah. So, with the Two of Swords, to me it makes me feel as though, again, I'm going back to Saturn and Pisces, okay? Saturn is your friend. Saturn can be your friend. A lot of times, if you're out of tune with Saturn energy, it feels like really crappy karma is coming at you. Like bad stuff keeps coming at you, and you feel like it's not your fault. It's not my fault. Why am I getting all this bad stuff coming at me? And sometimes it's hard to assimilate that energy. But with the Two of Swords, my feeling is the Saturn energy is saying, so get out of the emotional pain, resentment types of energy, and understand that when you tune into Saturn and when you accept reality exactly as it is, nothing less, nothing more, including your intuition. In other words, let's say reality is being presented to you in a certain way. Simultaneously, your intuition is sensing reality as this. Put that all together, and that is reality. It's happening simultaneously, but as you can see, there's a discrepancy. There's one version of reality, and then there's a secondary version of reality. Sometimes one version is being imposed upon you, and another version is what you know to be true from your internal antenna. So sometimes the only way to discern what's real and what's not real is to deliberately put yourself, it's almost like what she's doing in the images, where you literally blindfold yourself. You can even put earplugs in. Sometimes I do both. I'll put something over here and here, so there's no input, there's no information, and then I do some deep breathing, and then I just completely and it gets weird and trippy for a while. Then after a little bit, like you go into this like lucid dreaming state, and you can start to see and feel and hear things very, very clearly. It's like watching an internal television or a movie, or like watching Netflix internally here. and you are receiving energy. And if you're coming at it from a position of love, then you will receive the healing power of love, the version of energy that you need to understand and define and accept reality as it really is. I hope that makes sense. God, that's hard. How do I put it? I guess, in other words, trust your intuition. Deliberately put yourself into an intuitive state and ask for divine messages to be sent to you, and listen to what arrives. It's out there. That energy is available to you. A lot of times it's very, very difficult to discern this energy or even be aware of it without detaching yourself from the three-dimensional world. In other words, you would have to isolate yourself in a dark room, cover your eyes and cover your ears, for example. All right, let's have a look here. What's the situation? Okay. Well, I'm happy to see this. This is the Knight of Pentacles. To me, this feels very calming and very, very soothing, in that there is someone or some group or some, well, I don't know, like an entity that is very benevolent, very straightforward, direct, and it's coming towards you, and it has meaning and value and purpose, and it's very wholesome. Look at that beautiful, majestic animal. It's just beautiful, isn't it? And it makes me feel as though it's an energy of appreciation. An energy of appreciation is coming to you from others. That's just, to me, this just feels really, really good. Really soothing. It's very much to do, I believe, with healing. Getting yourself in tune with a new life. And then by, let's say, by getting yourself in tune with a new life, with new frequencies, that are appropriate, because life is changing all the time, and we're going through humongous changes right now, especially when you consider the cusps. Here, and we're almost having one here. These are really profound cusp changes, and ultimately it's for your benefit and for your evolution. And because you've lived through a lot of hardship and upheaval. A lot of it you don't deserve, but it came anyway. But my feeling is that you've kind of turned a page and tuned into a totally new frequency, which is much more sublime, much more divine, much more gentle, healing, and mellow. And this is what it looks like when it's coming at you. Oh, I can't stop looking at this. It's gorgeous. It just looks really wholesome and beneficial and harmonious. Like people appreciate you. They value you. What's the challenges here? Okay, there's a lot of mysterious activity going on that you simply either, well, let's put it this way. Whatever you need to know, well, what's that expression? You know how I used to do that? I haven't done that for a long time. Hold on, Tina. I have one of these little meditative things that I do. Let's say I'm really deeply tuned into my angels, invisible friends right now, and I just want to do some fine tuning. I would say something like, please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Whatever that might be. A stress, a pain, a situation, a person, an attitude, a belief. And please bring to me that which is mine. In other words, the good stuff that you deserve. But sometimes you need to receive things that need work as well. And please take away from me that which is not mine. In other words, if you're carrying baggage and there's redundant residual energy that's literally obsolete and redundant, it's time to let it go. But sometimes it's very hard to do because people fall in love with their problems. They fall in love with their pain. Their pain, their problems, their suffering becomes their identity. So when you try to remove pain and suffering from a person who hasn't thought about it from that perspective, they resist. And you can't heal someone like that because they insist on holding on to their issues, their problems. There's nothing you can do. I could be a master wizard of remote healing. There's nothing I can do. I could be, a master surgeon. There's nothing I can do. So, and like, give me a second here. So, a lot of times, people just want to know that everything's going to be okay. They want to know all the exact details of their future, their life, and how everything's going to work out just fine and perfectly. Everything that they've dreamed of and manifested and want to have happen. But, with the High Priestess here, the challenge is, it kind of falls back on you where, let's just say she's the High Priestess and she's speaking to you directly. She's basically saying, Tina, it's okay. There's only so much you can handle in one particular day. Whatever's yours will come to you. Whatever's not yours will move away. So chillax in the meantime. Whatever needs to be revealed to you will be revealed in good time. Meanwhile, there's no point in trying to find out what's behind the veil because it's not the time. You're living in a three-dimensional world. I'm over here in spirit, and we've got to get coordinated so that you are in tune. If you try to rush into the future, you're not living your energy in the present. If you're trying to avoid the future by staying in the past, you're not living in your present. So, like the High Priestess here is like very gently kind of saying, like, Tina, please relax and just trust in the divine. I don't know how else to explain this to you, Tina. I am the High Priestess, and I really, really have your best interests at heart, okay? So, yeah. Of course, that's difficult to swallow because a lot of people want their reality to be clear and defined. What's happening to me? What's going on in my life? All right, so how do we deal with things going forward? Especially if there's a lot of mystery and the unknown. And things are in a very, very germinal stage, like the seedling stage, where there's not a lot of hard, full 3D reality being manifested. Remember, Saturn is in 0 degrees Pisces right now, so it has a whole journey to go through of 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30 degrees before completion. So please be patient. Make Saturn your friend. Be patient. Be willing to go at the speed of Saturn as opposed to the speed of Mercury. Let's see. Now, moving forward, how are we going to handle this? It looks just frustrating. Okay, so we've got the... King of Swords here, man. That's tough, powerful energy, man. This is a very fierce, powerful, masculine energy, the King of Swords. It's the energy of mastery, the mastery of... It almost feels to me, this is going to sound really weird, Tina, but it feels to me these are like divine guardian angels here, okay, for some reason, and they're speaking directly to you, and the King of Swords is saying, Tina, get a grip. Get a grip. You cannot afford to wander around in a state of wishful expectation of maybe this or maybe that, or wondering like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And the King of Swords is basically saying, get back to, let's say, retuning, get yourself in tune with the divine, stay in tune with the divine, allow the divine to manifest in your life, and that will be a new version, like a higher version expression of truth and reality. Because for some people, reality, about manifesting reality, is brute force. They can't get what they want, they just do this, and ultimately it kind of backfires. But in this spread, what I'm seeing here, it's almost like, let's say, there's no big ego cards here, but it's like the message is like, it's almost, it makes me feel like they're both talking to you simultaneously with their own version of a story, where it's like, in order for your reality to manifest in a way that's best and good for you, dear Tina, I, as one of your powerful invisible friends, spirits, guides, I am instructing you to get out of your mind, get into your heart, allow yourself to be the instrument of the healing power of love. Allow reality to manifest through you, rather than feeling like you have to force manifestation around you, as if you are the ultimate source. In other words, another way to say it is, dear Tina, allow source energy to work through you. Okay, yeah, that's all. That's all I wanted to say. No big deal. Don't be scared of me. I'm just delivering a message that is hard to deliver, and maybe not a lot of people would want to deliver it or even dare to deliver it, but somebody has to say it. Okay? Now give me a big fat hug. Okay? Look at me. I need it. All right, Tina, I hope that helps. It's about, to me it feels here, it's all about getting in the right frame of mind, heart, body, and soul to accept and allow a new version of reality to manifest in your world, where you don't have to force it to happen or push it to happen. It's more like allowing it to happen. All right. Let's leave it at that. I think that's all I can do. I can't add anything more to that. It would just confuse things. Thank you very much, Tina, for your generosity. Thank you very much, Gregory, for your generosity. It's a pleasure to read for you folks. I love doing this. I wish I could do more. Who knows what will happen over time. Let me go back here for a moment. Give me a second. Okay, this is going to linger for a while, so please be careful. Please allow and understand that there's massive instability in the global financial system, and this permeates down to the individuals here. Even in my own life, the big, scary things that are happening in the global financial system are affecting me in a personal way, okay? Karen Clark! You're in beautiful, beautiful New Zealand. Wow. My gosh, I cannot tell you, Karen, how much I miss New Zealand. I don't think I've ever felt anything like it. I wish I could go back. I mean, I love my life. I'm an American. I'm in a very, very, very American city. It's a crazy place here. It's basically my home now. That doesn't stop me from having deep, warm, fuzzy feelings of New Zealand. I'm hoping I can get there again before I disappear to the other side. And when I get there, Karen, you and me, we're going to hang out, okay? We're going to hang out. I'm going to come down to your part of the world, and we're just going to, I don't know, do cool stuff. Eat fish and chips. I want to eat New Zealand fish and chips. And mussels. I love all the mussels that you have there. And even though I really don't drink anymore, I would love to have just at least a sip of some of your beautiful artisanal New Zealand beer. Those are just a couple of ideas. Karen Clark, we just finished the Taranaki Arts Trail. Oh, wow. Oh, please tell me more. Please tell us more. I'm basically going to wrap up the show, and I'm going to clear some I'm just going to clear the deck. I can clear the deck in a few minutes. Please fill me in a little bit more, Karen. So what happened at the Taranaki Arts Trail? Did they come through your shop? Did you have to go out to other people? Did you have to do like lectures and seminars or what? Yeah. Anyway. Maybe we have a very, very long delay here because Karen is over there in New Zealand. And that's pretty far away. So even with the internet working at the speed of light, there might be a delay. But anyway, thank you so much, Karen, for checking in. Actually, what I'm going to do later on, I'm going to Google the Taranaki Arts Trail just for fun, so I can feel like I'm sort of there, or at least I can catch up. Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Actually, I have to confess, Karen, I've been having lots of flashbacks of New Zealand recently. It's one of the ways I put myself to sleep at night. I kind of have visions of all the beautiful places where I would hang out and the things that I did, my people, my friends, my loved ones, all of that. Wow. Yes, I have there's something just very magical about New Zealand. I think you had a very radical left-wing political leader, and now you've gone to somebody who's very conservative. That's going to be interesting to see what happens. Of course, New Zealand is on the map now. Hardly any people in America ever heard of New Zealand until that big Christchurch horrible thing happened years ago. And then also when the big bug came out in March of 2020, and then New Zealand did a complete, utter 100% lockdown, which I think was kind of genius, but not everybody can do that. But lucky New Zealand, you could, so you did. Well done. I don't blame you. If I was the Prime Minister of New Zealand, I would have just shut all the gates, closed the airport. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I often get these. I have a lot of vivid dreams that are borderline. What do they call it? Lucid dreaming, and I can sometimes feel like I'm in these kind of bohemian villages and small towns inside New Zealand, and I'm hanging out with strangers, and every now and again somebody appears that I know, and we hang out and do things. I've definitely met with artists and writers and musicians. So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, fish and chips, man. Ooh, ooh. And I want to go on some sailboats. Okay? All right, let's see. Well, we got to wrap it up here. We've been here for several hours. So let's kind of wrap it up. I'm going to play a little bit of a goodbye song. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play my TarotLumination song, which is all about protecting the Second Amendment here in America. And it's my way of expressing myself. Let me see if I can find the song. What does it look like? It's called, I call it my 2A song. And it's basically I play it on my guitar. I don't have a band or anything like that. I don't have a recording studio. I have a recording studio, but I don't know how to use it. Well, I know how to use it, but I'm not an engineer, so I never use it. I have to work with an engineer. Anyway, this is my song. It's my Second Amendment song. I'm going to play it now. And it sounds like this. Okay, I'm calling this my 2A song. It's from TarotLumination. It's pretty rough, but I hope you get something out of it. When will I stop being censored? All I'm doing is speaking the truth. Instead I am labeled as a domestic terrorist, extremist with a short fuse. The fake news just lies and suppresses. The Marxists are writing the scripts. The unaware masses get led to their slaughter while patriots try to resist. Oh, you can't take me down and you can't shut me up. I got the First Amendment by right. And if the first one is threatened, I've still got the second. I won't go down without a fight. Yes, we still have our sweet Constitution, but it's severely being abused. Our only solution is a new revolution to take back what belongs to you and me. I'm sick of the perverts and pedos trying to normalize child sacrifice. They revel in evil and their satanic rituals packaged in their delicious lies. No, you can't take me down and you can't shut me up. I got the First Amendment by right. And if the first one is threatened, I've still got the second. I won't go down without a fight. It all began way back on 4th of July in 1776. The founders and fighters gave their lives for our freedom. I don't want to live through that again. You see, I'm recalling a past life from that exact time. I shed blood to shake off the chains of the tyrants and despots who owned us like cattle. But if I have to, I'll fight them again. Oh, you can't take me down and you can't shut me up. I got the First Amendment by right. And if the first one is threatened, I've still got the second. I won't go down without a fight. No, you can't take us down and you can't shut us up. We got the First Amendment by right. one is threatened, we've still got the second. We won't go down without a fight. Well, there, I hope you liked it. Huh. Stop. No. Gotta get you some too. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. When the light of hope it fades, when all faith is blown away, when all sense of trust goes down, when a smile turns into frown, when it feels there's no relief, nothing in which to believe, desperate in woe and grief, angels come reminding me, I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. Angels gather close to me, show me what I cannot see. Angels take me by the hand, lift me when I cannot stand. Angels lead me through the dark, soothe and tend a broken heart, laughing at the circumstance, crying while we sing and dance. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. Love is the word. Love is the word. For the skies, opening my hands to welcome in the day, gather in the sun's rays before run on my way, and the healing vibrations rattle through my soul, shaking out the poisons, making me whole, casting out diseases by chanting the word.
tribulations all bottled up inside. I summon in the numb as I reach up for the skies. I command all fear and shadows be gone before my eyes. And the healing vibrations rattle through my soul, shaking out the poisons, making me whole, casting out diseases by chanting the word. The sounds of the universe by all will be heard. Resonate inside us, Mom is the word. And the healing vibrations rattle through my soul, shaking out the poison,